that he says, we were talking about how a person gets very, very connected to Hashem's revealed face when he goes and studies Torah and does mitzvot. He says, okay, that we said yesterday. And he says, now we understand why Torah study is more virtuous than all other mitzvot. Right? The Masechet Peah says, Talmud Torah keneged kulam. Talmud Torah, learning Torah, is the greatest mitzvah. Even greater than prayer. Even according to Kabbalah, prayer causes the upper worlds to make zivug. It's to make a union. It touches the highest levels in Shamayim, the prayers, and still Torah is greater than that. Why? He says, because the Torah is literally one with Hashem, without any hidden face of His. So therefore, that's why it's higher than even prayer. And what do we see? The Halacha says, Masechet Shabbat says, the Torah scholar who's learning non-stop, like Rabbi Shimon Yochai, he doesn't have to stop for prayer. So you see that learning is even higher than praying, right? It says, and even though most Chachamim are not like Rabbi Shimon Yochai, and they do have to stop for prayers, that's only because, anyways, he's not learning non-stop like Rabbi Shimon Yochai. But if he would learn non-stop like Rabbi Shimon Yochai, he wouldn't have to stop. And therefore, from here, we can understand and get inspired to get a great sense of Yirat Hashem, fear of Hashem, when we study Torah. Imagine guys learning, a phone call in the middle of learning. Guys learning, they start schmoozing about random things. Guys learning, is distracted. So you have to realize, it's higher than prayer. Guy talks to you, if you ignore him, the Gemara says, the Mishnah says, even if there's a snake around your leg, you're not allowed to run around, right? During Amidah. So a person wouldn't distract himself for anything during Amidah, during the prayers. How much more learning? Learning is on a higher level. So now a person will have this thought that when he's learning, he'll act differently. Because you don't realize how much of enlightenment, how much of a revelation you're getting of Hashem Shekhinah right now when you're learning. And you contemplate how all the worlds are nothing, are zero in His presence. To the extent that Hashem's will does not become enmeshed in them, He just is He's surrounding all the worlds to give them their main life energy, right? And they're only going to be able to receive a glimmer of that light, which is embellished in those worlds, to the point where the maximum they can withstand without their existence becoming completely obliterated. Meaning to say, there's such a revelation that a little bit more and everything will be just bater to Hashem. But such a maximum revelation happens when a person is studying Torah, and that's why it gives the biggest zichut and it is the biggest mitzvah. He says, This is why the pasuk says Hashem commanded us to perform all the mitzvot in order to fear Hashem. What does that mean? You would think it's the other way around. You fear Hashem, and that's why you do the mitzvot. What does it mean? We do the mitzvot, and then we have a fear of Hashem. That doesn't make any sense. So he says, no, there's the basic fear of Hashem that you have to do the will of Hashem. You have to fear Hashem a little bit to care to do His mitzvot, but then after you do the mitzvah, and you get the spiritual energy, and you get all this revelation, and you get this closeness to Hashem from the mitzvah, then you're going to get the higher. You're going to get the higher fear of Hashem, as it says, Im en chokhmah en yirah. If there's no wisdom, there's no fear. Which means that once you get a higher wisdom, then you'll realize how much more you have to fear of Hashem. And Talmud Torah gives you the most wisdom. Studying Torah gives you the most wisdom and gives you the most understanding of Hashem, and therefore you automatically have a higher fear of Hashem. That's why the Hasidic masters, they say you have to do teshuvah and teshuvah. What does it mean? When you make teshuvah, that's good. So now you're closer to Hashem. But now that you're closer to Hashem, you realize how much you should have served Hashem, how much I should have done. Look, now knowing what I know, it's really embarrassing what I didn't know in the past, and I have to make teshuvah for that. Okay, it's good that I make teshuvah, but now I have to make teshuvah on this that I didn't serve Hashem, teshuvah and teshuvah. Teshuvah, for this, that I didn't serve Hashem like how I serve Hashem today. So therefore he says, "V'Torah nikret tzat har'ah ledarta," and this is considered what the Talmud says the gateway to the dwelling. Right? We know that the Gemara says that a person who has mitzvot, has wisdom, but has no yirat shamayim, right? Has no fear of God. It's like he has the house but no gate. He doesn't have the key to the gate. He has the key to the door. He doesn't have the key to the outer gate. The fear of Hashem is the first gateway to the house. So therefore, Torah gives you and builds you that gateway. He says that however, it takes meditation, and not every mind can hold this. And you gotta be able to tap into this. It's not automatic. You have to be able to meditate on the Torah that you're learning, and meditate on the mitzvah that you're doing, in order to be able to give you this extra reverence, this extra Yad Hashem. He says, however, it's interesting. There's a story with the Tanya actually, Alav Shalom, where he was at a wedding, and they used to have a badchan. Badchan is like a comedian. He used to have some sort of entertainment, MC of some sort. So he used to give Musar. Part of his segment of his entertainment was he used to give a rebuke to everybody. So the Baal Tanya was in the mood to hear rebuke, so he said, "Listen, can you give me rebuke also?" So what are you going to tell the Rebbe? Rebuke? Which rebuke? He knows everything. Which rebuke? So he gave him something powerful. What did he say? He said, "Listen, whatever I know, you also know." Right? He's saying, "I'm the comedian, you're the rabbi. Whatever I know, you also know. Whatever you don't know, I also don't know. So what's the difference between me and you? We're very close. But what Hashem knows and what Hashem knows and you don't know, right? I'm on the same boat as you. There's a huge gap between us and Hashem. So therefore, what do you think of yourself so big as a Rebbe?" Meaning to say, like, you should humble yourself. And when he told him this, Baal Tanya was crying. He started crying right away. He realized how much of a teshuvah he has to make. Meaning to say, for this, they say a line like this. The sages say, the more you learn, the more you realize you don't know. Right? You say, when you don't know, you think you know everything. When you start delving and delving and delving, you say, "Wow, this is huge. It's massive. There's so much to understand here. Wow, I don't know anything." But then when you don't know nothing, you think you know everything. You think, "Oh, it's simple. What's the problem? It's a big deal to be religious. It's not so complicated. It's nothing. You just keep Shabbat, you keep Kashrut, this, that. It's not simple." But then you realize you learn, you realize there's so much. So therefore, he says, once you get this, you realize, you learn, you'll see how great Hashem is, how much you don't know. So we were talking about the positive commandments. And then you have the other side, the 365 negative commandments. What does this mean? This opposite of this Hashem made. Since they are against what Hashem's will and wisdom is, the mitzvot are Hashem's wisdom. The lotas says the negative commandments are against Hashem's wisdom. They're the opposite of what He wants. They are like a splintered part away from Hashem's reality, and is completely detaching yourself from Hashem once you do the lotas. Like that's what sitracha means. The other side, it's away from Hashem, separate from Hashem. Hasa shalom, which are represented by idolatry, believing other gods, and it brings you the hiddenness of Hashem. So therefore, a person has to know. We're going to speak about this more, but a person has to know that the mitzvot are the main way to connect to Hashem, the way to diverge off from Hashem, and to remove yourself from the yirat shamayim and all good things, is to connect to the lotus, is the negative commandments. If a person does that, he's only bringing himself negative energy, and Chas v'Shalom, it will affect him how he fears Hashem later.